Get it, Cole?
Yeah. Cole's bringing the energy. That is such a good one. It is 100%. What is the old SNL skit that had not the night the Roxbury's one, but there was one where they were doing like the whole like they were dressed in black and shit. Like that very much reminds me of that vibe right there. I love it.
I totally know what you're talking about, and I can't even think of it right now.
Yeah, so how do we get like dance parties / rave parties to like happen at aid stations and ultra marathons? Like I feel like we're lacking. Like if I ever put on a race or event, there has to be like one aid station that is like the rave party dance station, and it has to be in the middle of the night to get people all like hyped up and stuff.
And it has to be very remote, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what that remind? Cole, sometime you got to come and run Mo 100. The fire tower. So we have an aid station, the fire tower aid station. You hit it 4 times, so it's different miles, different times. But you hit that thing at like 3 a.m, and it is just going hard. It is, and then what really sucks is it's going so hard that it's like it's here, you're way here, and like you got to come this way, and then do a series of switchbacks, and then come up to it. So you hear it, and you're still like 3 miles from. You're probably still 2 miles from that thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's right there, and like you can kind of sort of hear it past you. You're like that section
along the river there, where you like cross over it a few times. It just takes forever.
Oh man, but yeah, you're right. It's some of the times like those aid stations that are just going hard. Like what's the one in at Western States? The one that's at a school. What one is that one? It's at a school.
Yeah, that's Forest Hill.
Forest Hill. That one, they go pretty hard at Forest Hill. They go pretty hard.
That thing is insane. Like it's just insane. You can't even get a parking spot in the whole city.
Yeah. I feel bad. I legitimately weirdly feel bad for folks that live in Forest. Could you imagine not knowing what an ultra marathon is, and you just move to Forest Hill on a whim, and then all of a sudden, the third or fourth weekend of June, like shit just goes ape. It's just you're like, wait, what? Wait, hold on, what's going on?
I bet those businesses make their nut for the whole year on that weekend.
Whole year, absolutely.
Yeah, imagine having an Airbnb and kind of like, you just go on a vacation during that week and like Airbnb your house and stuff, and I'm sure you'll be able to make some extra cash or.
Oh yeah.
I wonder. I do wonder how many mortgage payments you can cover in Western states. Like if you live in Auburn, right? Like I wonder how many mortgage payments you can cover it just on Western states alone.
Oh. A few.
It'd be amazing. I should log on this year and see what Airbnbs are going for in Auburn right now.
Yeah, good idea. All right, let's get into it. We got a great show, conversation with our returning guest, our acclaimed Rhode Island ultra runner, Cole Crosby. Do you have any nicknames, Cole?
I mean, yes, but I'm not going to share any of them on the show because
I was thinking some
of them are embarrassing and other ones are like kind of irrelevant. So
I was thinking something like the Beast from the Northeast or something.
That could be good.
Beast from the Northeast. That is it. That's a good one.
We got some race results. Not really any well-known races took place last weekend. I think it's kind of the calm before the storm of this weekend, which is a huge race that we're going to talk about. And there is a race that happened though over the weekend with a very interesting format that we will talk about. Nothing of note for FKTs really recently.
And that's wild because they were dropping left and right. So
yeah, I mean there is some, but like some overseas or smaller segment stuff. Nothing major. There's an article we're going to talk about impacts from lack of sleep and like your health from ultra running because I've suffered from it and you guys have
that's
too.
Awesome.
LazCon update, and he's taking a pause. We'll talk about that. And like I said, that race that's coming up this weekend, huge race. So stick around to hear about that. And for our 3Ts, we're going to talk crewing, something that Cole is well familiar with. And we saved this one for you, Cole.
Love it. All right, awesome.
All right, so let's get into it. You've been pretty busy since last time we talked. You were getting ready for Across the Years, and that was at the end of December out in Arizona, and you ended up getting first place there. Is it
not shabby?
Have you run other 24-hour races before that?
Not in any kind of like loop format like that. I've done obviously like 200-mile the Speed Project, which is like my farthest 346, but nothing that's looped, right? So like literally, I've gone beyond that distance, but not running around 1.4 mile loops for on baseball fields now.
Yeah, and it was relatively flat. Is that or?
So yeah, I would say the Across the Years course itself was relatively flat. It's kind of a strange course because it's like it cuts through kind of like these baseball diamonds and stuff, and so you kind of like start like in the stadium area and you run around the like outside concession area, and then you like go up and down or like a ramp like in behind the bleachers, like that's a part of the bleachers, and that's just like really wonky, quick, crazy, sharp turns. Like it's almost like you're like trying to like escape out of like a winding movie theater kind of deal.
Jeez.
And then it kind of like goes into like the lower stadium sections where it's a mix between pavement and like just like baseball, like hard packed dirt. You do that and it's like one big kind of loop. You cut in between a couple baseball fields, and then you kind of go around the backside of one of them, and then you're like right where the main parking area is of the baseball stadium, I guess. And then that's where everyone's set up with like RVs and like it's like almost like a little race village, and everyone's cheering and just hanging out, barbecuing, doing that, sleeping with their their campers and stuff. And then you come right back into the stadium. You go through the concession area, and then the start finish line banners right there, and then you start another loop.
Huh. Yeah. So did you like? You didn't really have to carry much, I take it. I mean,
no. I mean, I had a belt that had like some like gels and stuff, and I would run with like a handheld water bottle and just like hold on to it, and then chuck it away when I needed a new one, and would stop at our little aid station table that was set up and just like take all my drinks. I'm notorious for drinking a lot of drinks all at once, which makes crewing me a little bit difficult. That's probably the one difficult part of me is that I love like body armor and like chocolate oat milk and like and I just like
mixing all that at once.
I just have like almost like a assembly line of like 6 different drinks. And I'm just Dr. Pepper, like water, electrolyte, like
and then get all the stuff, right? Sugar, everything you need.
Yeah. So I do all that stuff really quick, and then I'm out. So that's just kind of, I guess, how I operate, but yeah.
So did you end up liking that format with the loops?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a new challenge, right? So like, I mean, I was happy. It was a great debut. 152 miles, I'm number 5 on the list for the USA team. So nice. By the end of the month of May, we'll find out whether I'm going to be on the team or not. Top 6 are ultimately getting invites to be on the world team. Nice. So the 152 was good. I mean, if I'm on the team, obviously I want to continue to kind of target the 24-hour distance, try to go for a top placement on the world stage this fall. So that would be a big goal. And then I've also signed up for, it's not on Ultra sign up yet. They're kind of, Airvipe is hiding it, but I did sign up for the 72 hour. So I'm going to go for the American record there. Nice. And maybe see how high up I can get to Giannis Kors's astronomical, like 369 mile mark or something like that. So
wow, that is really cool. So where does the World Championships take place for that?
Yeah, this year it's going to be in a town called Albi in France. So it's in like a mountain town that's kind of like off of the like Mediterranean, like I think they call it like the French Riviera.
Okay.
It's not in like Chamonix. It's not in like the Swiss French Alps, that kind of stuff. It's much further west.
Man,
yeah.
that sounds like it really suck. Anyway, who wants to it's probably ugly. I'm sure. I mean, like, hey, who wants to see that kind of scenery?
I know.
Yeah.
And then run around a 1 mile loop, right? Like
staring at the mountains.
Yeah. No, I mean it'll be fun. If that so happens. If not, like I have some backup plans to pivot and stuff and things that I kind of want to get after. So
nice.
So yeah, I have options.
Cool.
So no worries. When I ran across the years, like I didn't really know what was possible for me. Obviously, when you're trying a new discipline, and this goes for anyone out there, like if you're like, hey, I run a lot of hundreds, I want to try a 200, like that's in my eyes, that's considered a new discipline. So like,
yep.
If you're doing multi-day stage racing, or you're, doing even anything going from 50 mile to 100K, like there's similarities, but there's also differences. So just try to give yourself some grace too, of knowing like each event is going to pose different challenges. And I came into it like a rookie, like I had the experience, but I didn't know what that would be like. And, I learned a lot from it. And so, in the future, hopefully I can build upon the lessons I learned, right? That's why we do this sport. So
yeah,
that's one reason why we do the sport.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to look at it too. And I feel like people don't do that, right? Like people are like, well, I don't understand. I've done like 10 50Ks. I don't understand why I can't just jump to a 50. You're like, what are you talking about, man? Like that's a whole nother beast. So yeah, that's really good advice.
And
like
one thing
you can, it's just like give yourself some grace, right? Like that's the thing I'm saying. It's like you might nail it. You also might totally blow up, and that's okay. Like that's part of the learning process.
Yep. I do like the attitude. That's part of the fun of it too, right? Like it's like it's really fun to go out there and just kind of get your face kicked in once or twice. You know what I mean? I don't know why that's fun for me, but it's like, wonder how bad this can suck. Let's find out. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of fun. Like if you don't enjoy that, I feel like ultra running's maybe not your jam. Like you should.
The one time I did a 6 hour, it was like a 1 mile loop at Crissy Field in San Francisco when we lived there. And, in San Francisco, I mean, there's not like crazy climbing, but I get about 100 feet a mile on every run, during the week. Well, this 1 mile loop was pretty flat, and do it 6 hours of running the same on flat after you've been running 100 feet a mile. Like the hip flexors, I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for that at all. I'm like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. But yeah, so new muscles and cool. So then after that, you were preparing for Badwater Cape Fear. And at some point you got a sponsorship deal with Mount to Coast, right?
Yep, there's my a belt buckle for a 51 miler, legit. Dude, this is one of the biggest buckles I own, by the way.
That's a cool ass buckle.
I know, it's awesome. But yeah, so I was in talks with the company, and then across the years, kind of was like I hadn't signed my contract, but the contract was in my inbox, and I nailed the race, and then they were kind of like, it was like, all right, I'm signing, and then officially came on board right after that. I had a great race at Badwater Cape Fear. I got to give a shout out to Jamal Ryan, who was on my tail and then passed me, and I had no idea that he was ahead of me until I got to the 50K turnaround, and people were like, "Yeah, you're doing a good job. You're in second." I was like, in second? And you're running on a beach, so like 38 miles of the 51 are on like loose, mushy sand, and it's slanted too.
38 miles.
Yeah, so you're doing out and backs on the beach, and the headwind was brutal. There's some pictures where it looks like I'm just wincing in pain, but it's Badwater races are not easy, right? Like not even some of the, and like it was an amazing experience. Like Mount to Coast is an official sponsor of all the Badwater races, so obviously there was some incentive for me to be a part of that event, and
Yeah.
it was amazing. That the race director Chris Kosman and his team were phenomenal. Like I didn't know what to expect. Like and knowing Badwater, I've always thought that community was a little bit cliquey and kind of like it was really hard to like get into the group. And I was just welcomed with such generosity that I was just like blown away. I was like, this is an amazing community. And so I strongly urge people out there, whether it's Badwater 135 you want to do or one of his other events, like sign up for them, because it's a special community and I think it flies under the radar. So
Nice.
So I was blown away. It was an awesome experience. Jamal Ryan was in the lead for honestly like the majority of the time on the beach, and I caught him at the second to last aid station about 9 miles to go, and I let him leave the aid station, and I told one of the volunteers, I'm like, he's like, go get him, and I was like, I'm gonna go get him. And I just slowly chipped away and made the pass through the 50-mile-an-hour headwinds, and didn't look back and just held on, and won by, I don't know, maybe like a mile or something. Like
nice.
I think it was like 7-8 minutes. And he ran an incredible event. Like I personally was running really fast. I was like, surely the people behind me are not running 6:22 miles, because that's what I was doing. Like I was running like much faster than I expect or plan to.
Yeah.
The first 13 miles are on like the little local roads on Bald Head Island, and so I was running like under 6:30 a mile, pretty 6:20 to maybe 6:35, and I thought that would give me some distance, and they were only maybe like a minute or two behind me coming onto the beach. So I mean, pretty impressive performance by all the runners out there. But yeah, so hopefully that means I should be able to run Badwater 135 next year.
Silky.
That's part of the one of his like platinum ticket events. So I still have to apply and like make sure that I prove myself to the committee and everything. But more than likely, I'll be running Badwater next year. And what I plan on doing, one of my bucket list things, is the Arrowhead 135 Badwater 135 double. So the coldest race in the United States and the hottest in the same calendar year. So for any of those Minnesotans out there, I hope to see you this next coming winter in 2026 at Arrowhead. So
I love that. I mean, I would never do it, but I'm totally invested in you doing it.
That sounds unbelievably miserable. I do want to go back and ask about one thing I think I heard. The contract was in your email inbox.
Mm-hmm.
You win across the years 24. Do we just reply back like, let's renegotiate there, homies?
Well, remember, here's what's funny is, remember, I started my race on New Year's Day. So technically the contract was for the next year or whatever.
Year
2025. So it was the timing was all still fine. And they were nice enough to like honor, I got some bonus incentives and stuff for doing, for winning the event and that stuff. So it was very nice of them to kind of honor some of that stuff. And they've been great to work with. I'm happy to be a part of the team. So
listen, not a paid sponsor, but I will. Those are ridiculously light shoes. Like those things are like, I feel guilty wearing them because of how light they are and how slow I am still. Like I'm like, these the engineering, it goes like, these are being wasted, but I'm telling you, they are really, and it's funny because like you told me about it and I still wasn't really like visually ready for the dual lace thing. You know what I'm saying? And so when I got them, I'm like, well, that's weird. And what's weird is I played around with them. Like, this is actually kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like, let me cinch down this, but keep this loose. Well, let me try it the other way around now. All right, well, let's do this. Like, it is weirdly it's weird how much you can dial those shoes in on the. I will say, I have enjoyed the handful of miles I put into them. I do plan on bringing them out to Coco with me because I'm assuming I'm going to do a lot of walking, and for me going from 0 drops to those with the 8, they'll be perfect for me. Doing some power hiking with my guy and all that kind of stuff. So they'll be great. Like I am really digging those shoes so far.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's I don't want to say that it's. I mean, to give you a quick 45-second description of Mount to Coast. So the company is pretty much owned by 4 individuals. 3 of them were past Brooks running product developers in different capacities.
Yeah.
So it's really a product first company, and Yeti Zhang, who's kind of the head of product, he's like a supercritical filming mastermind. Like he's a pioneer, and so like the foam of a Mount to Coast shoe is one really innovative. So he's doing something that he's blending super shoe foam, like what you see in the fast marathon shoes, with a nitrogen infused EVA, which is kind of like Brooks DNA foam, more or less, or like, that ideology, and creating both a very lightweight, bouncy, somewhat soft ride, but also very supportive and very durable too, and provides that same bounce and performance over many, many miles. And that's what people, I think, are really raving about. And then, as you mentioned, the kind of the toe box option, not all the models have the dual lacing adjustable, like the speed lace on the forefoot. Though the majority of the models, and we talked about this, have like a 2E kind of like standard width in men's, or a D width standard in women's. The S1, which is like a traditional road training shoe, is a little bit more of a more standard cut. It's not the wider toe box cut, but it's cool because the brand, I think, is so involved with getting feedback. Like I've already tried prototypes, and like we're already tweaking stuff that's coming out like this fall, and it's like unbelievable just how quick we're able to make adjustments. So we'll see kind of how the product develops and evolves over time, but so far so good. And what we have coming down the way is just like even more mind-blowing.
Pretty cool. I've enjoyed them.
They have a lot of traction. I mean, figuratively speaking, they have a lot of traction. And maybe the trail shoes will literally have a lot of traction. But looking forward to seeing how that progresses. One thing I want to touch on really quickly before we move on to the next topic, Badwater Cape Fear. You mentioned the sand was off camber, like on a slope. I mean, I was just doing like 4-mile runs in Fiji in February on an off camber beach, and it was brutal. I can't imagine 38 miles on that.
And well, imagine also like, so going one direction, the wind is like a crosswind, and then on the way back, it was straight into your face, and it felt like you're running in slow motion. Like it felt like a snowshoe run for me. Snowshoe running is like, it's very aerobically, where your heart rate is just like through the roof, and you feel like you're going nowhere, right? And so like it was really hard for me to be like, I felt like I was going so slow, but I just had to go based on the effort of like what the conditions were dictating.
Yeah.
And so like that's, I think, my background in snowshoeing really helps, because I just like I played the patient game, and it ended up working out. Whereas like if I just really like revved my engine and just pushed too hard, I would have like blown up for sure.
Wow, that's smart.
Now, Jamie, when you were in Fiji, you were obviously also running 630s too, right? Like
I don't know if I've ever run a 630 in my life, even in high school cross country, to be honest.
It's funny because I was sitting there thinking, for me to run, you know what? Actually, I will humble brag a little bit. When I was in the Army, I could do 615s on a 2 mile. On a 2 mile, I could hang on to a 615.
Wow.
And it was not pretty. You know what I mean? It wasn't pretty, but like I could hang on. But it was only 2 miles. Like it's only 2 miles. So then you get done, you puke, and you go to the next thing you got to do. So, but that's that. Now I think I could do a 615 if I was doing like a 50-mile sprint or a 50-meter sprint, like a 50 meter.
I could maybe do a 7 30 if I was all out 100%. Maybe. I don't do much speed work, so
no.
Okay, so after you dominated Badwater, one thing I want to say about Badwater too, just to comment on what you said, Cole. I've heard nothing but great things about that race company. The whole like vibe and welcoming, like you said, and it's not like they shun outsiders or anything like that. So it's good to hear that was your experience. But yeah, let's move on to an event that you recently were at in a different capacity. You were crewing and pacing at the Arizona Monster, the initial 300-mile race put on by Candace Burt in Arizona, and wanted to maybe get your perspective on how that went, and like I don't know, like do you think it was similar to a 200 miler, or was there like additional challenges with 300?
So the answer is yes and yes. It does. So overall, did have a feel of like some of the other Destination Trail 200-mile events, but at the same time, it's longer. The aid stations are a little bit more spread out as well. I mean, I think Destination Trail usually has fairly spread out aid stations. 15 miles on average, kind of between point to point kind of stuff. And then there's always some pushes where it's like, like 25 or something like that every so often. That was definitely the case with Arizona Monster. Of course, with them, they initially the course was starting closer to Mexico in Patagonia, and they switched it, which I think, looking back on it, was actually a smart move. I think the style of the course and kind of like how it ran it, I think it created a better experience for everyone, which was good. Because the starting off points was like the most remote part of the whole race. And so to finish out there, and those, like, literally there's a town that has like a post office and like one motel and like a pizza parlor and stuff, like literally, and you have like one bar of cell service. Like that's, whereas like it was much more, even you're like an hour from Tucson at the finish line in Patagonia, which or 50 miles away kind of thing, and it was a very easy one road pretty much to get there. So much more favoring kind of like the logistics side for crew and that type of stuff. But I did get the pace and crew one runner in particular, Matt Cantrell from Indiana, and we also helped out a runner, Kenny Krieger from Delaware, who I've also crewed and paced for. He did the Grand Slam last year of 200s, and then Arizona Monster is kind of like he's done all of those long distance events in one calendar year pretty much, because he started with Cocodona last year and did them all. So he's wild. He came into it injured, and he ran like a man possessed. He should be sponsored by Satisfied, and that's why I kept telling him, because like they say like run possessed and stuff, and that's what he did. I don't know.
Wow.
He's and Matt Cantrell ran just an amazing textbook event. And I got to spend about, I think, like 93 miles with him or so, which was a lot of fun. So that's cool. To sum it up, like, it's a 200-mile race that is longer. And so there's more planning, more logistics, more factoring in sleep, nutrition. You're running in the Sonoran Desert, so it's pretty much all exposed. There's like two small sections where actually there's some tree coverage, like up Mount Lemmon, which is the high point. And then towards the end of the race, there's like this weird, like almost like Tomb Raider style, like like green grass, like hill kind of stuff, where you're like in tree coverage and you're like, this is so out of place because you've been running in the desert for like days, right? So
must be like a spring nearby or something.
Yeah. And to compare it to Cocodona, like Cocodona has much more diversity in terms of the environment and the terrain, and like you're going up into the desert, up into the pine trees, back into the desert, back into the pine trees, go through Sedona, all that kind of stuff. Whereas this race is like, it's cactus and like lots of undulating terrain, rocks, like heat, all that stuff.
I know there's like a 100-mile bike path that goes all the way around the city of Tucson, and is there like 40 or 50 miles of the race was on that bike path, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was about 38 miles or so. Mount
okay.
Lemon, I believe that whole section was mile 114, and to get to the top of Lemon, I think it was like 128 or so. And then there's like one other checkpoint going down from Lemon to get into Tucson, and then they're running like 40 miles on the bike path, which for the leaders, it was in the heat of the day, where others kind of got to do it in the nighttime, which poses its own, it poses its own challenges too, because you want to run fast, but you're also kind of like, you feel out of place because you've been running on roly-poly kind of like terrain for quite some time. So
cool. And last thing we wanted to go over with you is what you have coming up next, which is in like a week and a half.
Almost there.
And we talked a little bit before the show, before we started recording, and training has gone well. And the race is Sedona Canyons 125. So it's a 125 miler, part of the Cocodona races. And feeling good, ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Cocodona community, and I'm sure people will ask me like, hey, why aren't you running the 250 and all that stuff? And it's like, yes, I'd love to. It's just, I think for me, it was the timing of the year. I wanted to try something different too. Like I've done, I ran Cocodona and completed it in 2022. I had a rough go last year in 2024. And so I wanted to experience the course in a different light, I guess to say, like both like realistically and also like figuratively too. Because I've never been able to see Sedona in that part of the course in the daylight. So running this distance guarantees that I get to see that. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And that's motivating me to do it. And then just to be a part of the community, like it creates for me a little bit less pressure, because like the logistics of the 250, it's a beast. And like the training, all of it, it takes half a year to really like really compete, to really dial things in. Where it's not that I haven't been preparing for Sedona. It's a little bit less overall like stress in terms of the logistics. It's a little bit more simplified. And so I'm excited. I got my Coke donut shirt that came in the mail. So
I saw that on Instagram.
I didn't realize it was an Andy Glaze like hashtag thing, because I was like, I think they spelled it. I thought it's supposed to be called Coca Donut, right? I think they spelled it wrong, but I saw the Coke can picture, so I'm like, I guess I'm gonna be drinking Coke and eating donuts that week of the race. So it's just it's again such a fun event, and it's the first Cocodona 250 is it's sentimental to me because it's the first actual belt buckle I ever got in a race.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
So literally I skipped over 100-mile distance and just went straight to 250 and got a belt buckle. So
why not?
Says almost no one.
So, I feel like it's going to be a while for me to really say like, oh, I don't want to do a Cocodona race. Like it's such a cool, it's such a special week that like I get ultimate big time FOMO if I'm not somehow involved. So so it's gonna be fun.
Crazy how quickly that's become just a staple event. You would think that race has been going on for 25 years, the way it's hyped up, and everything's great about it. The live stream, the commentary, like around the clock, and I look forward to watching it on the live stream every year. And this year, Johnny and I are going to be out there crewing for our friend Pete Griggs, who's running the 250. So
we will be handling.
We will be handling and safety runners.
Handling it. Cole, what's the goal time? Do you go into races like setting a goal time for the race, or do you just go in like, I'm going to grip and rip, and like I'm just going to run as hard as I can for as long as I can? Or do you kind of go in with like I filled this time? How do you go into those races?
Yeah, I'm happy to share it. So I've just started working with Zach Bader in November, December or so. And we were just texting, and I was kind of giving him like text message, kind of like game plan of how I want the race to kind of play out. I'm I'm going to be aggressive. I mean, Jeff Browning has the fastest overall time for that race. It's a slightly different course, but 25, 29, 22 is the fastest time run on the Sedona Canyons 125, and I want to run under that. So whatever that time is, as long as it's 25, 29, 29, 21, I'll be really happy. Obviously, if it doesn't pan out that way and I run slower than that, it is what it is. But I'm definitely I'm strategizing to try and go for that type of effort. So
excellent.
All right. So the 125 is it? What's the is that this will sound an amazingly dumb sounding comment, but I'm going to say it out loud anyways. The course record for that being 25 hours, it feels like that's a pretty high time for elites on a 125 course. Is it rocky? Is it elevation? What is it about that course that makes it pretty challenging?
That's a great question. I don't know, honestly. I'll have to tell you after I run it and see. I mean, from what I know with the course, I mean, there's a big climb that happens. You go from kind of 2,000 feet. You go from like Deer Pass and like kind of like the low deserts past Cottonwood, and then go and ascend up to 7,000 feet. So like,
okay.
And that happens over miles, obviously, because you got to go through Sedona, and then you hit your real climb up into the Coconino Plateau. But I feel like that section is a very runnable section. Arizona is littered with rocks, so there are rocks, and they move. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get more runnable, like actual, like just nice packed dirt sections in that portion of the race than the other parts, and so. I think it is a fast course if you have the experience and kind of know how to section it out. But it's, you start off in Jerome or outside of Jerome, so you're up at 5,300 feet or something like that, and then in a span of about 10 miles, you go down to about 2,300 feet.
Damn.
So it's just a screaming. You go through downtown Cottonwood, and then you cross the Agua Fria River, and then you're kind of like running on like some sandy dirt trails, like down that way. And then from there, you're kind of like running on like this really narrow, like desert, like white sand, kind of like sand dune kind of environment. And then from there, you start to make your way to Sedona. So you start to see more like red rock features. And I'm so excited. This Sedona Canyons is actually the section is called the airport loop. And I ran that in 2022, and I did it at nighttime, and I could see the lights of Sedona down below, and I just was like on this like crazy high at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like that part of trail, I'm just dying to get to it because I just know what it's gonna like. I've been out there other times past the race and seen what that trail looks like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I missed like some of the most amazing rock features, so I'm gonna get to see that, which is gonna be fun.
Sedona is really cool.
And overall it's a super cool course, super diverse. I don't have to run up and down Mount Eldon, which is fine by me. I get to see a different part of Flagstaff, which is cool.
I didn't know that doesn't go over Eldon. But I guess in the elevation profile, it doesn't spike right at the end.
Yeah, you go from Fort Tuthill and then kind of run like west where the 250 mile course goes east. So again, it's such a cool event, cool race. I can't wait to just experience it from a different side of things and also experience it like not being like sleep deprived either. Like actually being able to like throw down on those dirt roads up on the Coconino Plateau, like it's super runnable.
Nice.
But of course, when you're doing a 250, like your legs are already shot at that point.
You're hiking at that point.
you're just praying to hit a 12-minute mile. Like that's like
minute mile.
That's like
I'd be praying to hit a 20-minute mile.
It's like for me, it's terrain that I feel like you can, if you were totally fresh, like you could just let it rip. And it's just hard when you're doing the longer distance. You have that cumulative fatigue on your legs, and you're like, gosh, man, if only I was like, if only I had only just started running 1 mile now, I'd be ready to go, that kind of thing.
It is wild. Scroll to where it's more Sedona, the one play on. It is wild because like you're saying, Cole. It just. I mean, like the start goes and it's immediately it's a plummet. But what's great? Yeah, what's crazy is you basically are climbing to a degree all the way to that. Basically, right there. Then you level off. What mile marker is that right there? I can't.
That's 70. Like right here is 70.
Yeah, 70. So you are climbing for essentially half of that race.
Yeah, there is a little bit of rolling, but overall from mile 10 to mile 70 is just like this grinder.
Yeah, I retract my statement, my question about why is that a slow time? Never mind. I can't. I'd be like a 48-hour finish on that effing course. I'd be like a 48-hour finish.
I think they have the time cutoff is super generous on the 125.
It is. And that's
like 70 hours or something. Like
I think so. I know that, and that's one of the appeals to it too. Is like because the 250 is going on, and you have kind of that extra time buffer. It allows people to kind of get to, like maybe this is their first 100-mile finish. Like so it's cool. Like you don't there's less pressure there. You can kind of sightsee a little bit more. Obviously the support is there. You're gonna have warm meal options literally at every aid station. They have like a whole menu and stuff, which is kind of cool. So it's just really well set up.
Yep, 75-hour cutoff for the 125.
That is so. Cole brings up a good point. Like that could be your first 100, right? Could you imagine going from a race that's like 135 miles with like a 70-hour cutoff for your first 100, and then you go to the next race is like, this is 100 miles and you have 32 hours to do it. You're like, whoa. Where'd my 40 other hours go? You know what I mean? Like that is.
Yeah.
But like it's also wild to think like those people can also go into the next race with the mindset of like, oh wait, so I only got to go through night one time.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sweet. Kind of sweet. Like, all right.
Yeah. So, 15,000 feet of climb over 125 miles, which is not too bad.
Yeah. It's just interesting how it's just that, like you said, it's like that 60-mile grind.
Yeah.
So as long as you just grip into that and like lean forward and just get it
over
with.
Just a lot of gradual climbing. That it's very spread out. So cool. Well, we're looking forward to following you, and maybe there's an off chance that we might see you out there somewhere.
I know, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
All right. Well, I think we should get into some race results. I need to
the one or two that we have, the 3, 4.
Yeah, it was oddly not too much going on over the weekend, but let's talk about what we do have, and we'll start with Knobstone. So this is a new race in Indiana, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it has 10,000 feet of climb. And it's a point-to-point 50-miler. And I'm like, where in Indiana can you get 10,000 feet in a 50-mile? But there are some hills in Indiana, especially southern Indiana. This is getting close to Louisville.
Yeah.
Louisville. So pretty cool. New race.
That is coal country down through there too. Like you're like not coal, but that's like coal.
Cole Crosby.
Yeah.
Walker Yane came in first in 9 hours and 29 minutes, and for the women, Lauren Hendrickson 12 hours and 5 minutes for the inaugural Knobstone 50 in Indiana. That's in Borden, Indiana. Okay. So the Rattler trail race, which is in Colorado Springs, was over the weekend, and this is a race that takes place in Palmer Park. And Jacob Cordell, this is a let's see, they have a 50K. Yeah, that was the only ultra distance was 50K, and Jacob Cordell won that. And this is that one that like I can't scroll over.
Yeah.
But, okay. 4 hours and 46 minutes. And for the women, first place was 60-year-old Anita Ortiz.
That is crazy. That's awesome.
Yep, out of Eagle, Colorado, 5 hours and 52 minutes. So congrats, Anita. Well done.
I want to go pull her ultra sign up.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what other races she's won. You know what I mean? Like, you're 60 years old, you're winning a race. Like, I wonder what else she's out there just dominating, quietly, just kind of knocking off wins here and there.
Yeah, super, super impressive. And then we also had Loop the Hooch. That was one that just got in there because of a cool name.
Yeah.
That it takes place on, it's a gravel dirt. It's a 5K loop on gravel dirt surface along the Chattahoochee River. And this takes place in Suwanee, Georgia. Let's see. So the 50K solo race, they also have relays, but the 50K solo, CRG Pisarczyk was first. I probably butchered that.
Yes.
3 hours and 39 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty blazing fast. That's a 7:04 pace. And for the women, Nicole Gasaway, 4 hours and 12 minutes with an 8:07 pace. Very nicely done, Nicole.
And she was third overall too. Look at that.
Third overall. 41 years old from Sugar Hill, Georgia. And this last race that I want to talk about is the interesting one. It's called Run with Goats.
That's awesome.
This is in Kennewick, Washington, and it's a very interesting format. I would say this race takes the beer mile to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the rules. There are two divisions, beers and sober. The race starts at 10 a.m. You must drink a 16-ounce beer or other non-alcoholic beverage of your choice. So if you're running in the sober division, then you drink whatever. And then complete a 5.2 mile trail run. And after you get finished at 5.2 miles, you have the option of either having another beer and continuing for 5.2 more miles, or you can drop out. Only those that complete 6 repeats and drink 6 beers. And mind you, these are 16-ounce beers. So you're drinking more than 6 beers. For a total of 31 miles will be granted a finish. Imagine how plastered you would be if you finished that race.
I hope they have good course markings because you could get lost, you'd be like, where am I?
No kidding.
People taking trail naps and everything.
Does it have a time limit? Does it have a time limit on it? I am intrigued by this race.
Yeah, I don't see not on here. Let me look at their website real quick.
Their website looks like it's a website by a bunch of drinkers.
Yeah.
What's the entry fee too?
Yeah.
Do what?
Like, how much does it cost to run this race?
Oh, I know.
Those are all great questions that are not easily answered by their website. I honestly, I was going to say this reminds me of the Hash House Harriers group.
Yeah.
I know there was a Hash House Harriers chapter in Ann Arbor. I think this is something that started overseas.
Yeah, it started in India or India,
Malaysia.
Okay.
It's a drinking club with a running problem.
Yeah. I've ran with the Hash Harriers here in Columbus a couple of times.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Were they just running off trail?
So I think they meet like twice a month, but like every time they meet, and this is Columbus, so they do the greater metropolitan area of Columbus, right? So I met with them one time on the east side of Columbus, and if you're not a Columbus person, east side of Columbus can be kind of sketch. And they literally they met right. They weren't in the hood, but they were hood adjacent when they met. And I'm like, holy shit! And so it starts at a bar, and they're like, yeah, pre-lube. Another common theme with Harriers is there's a lot of like sexual innuendos. So like, yeah, pre-lubing before the run. So you'll have a beer or more before the run starts, and then they're like, okay, the hair is taken off, and the hair is like the person that marks the course. And so this person takes off, and traditionally used to run with flour, but now they run with like sidewalk chalk. And you'll get the intersections, you'll put the arrow pointing what way you went. And so as the rest of the pack catches up, they see the arrow, they go. But here's what's crazy is along the route, there could be bars that you stop in. They're called in-ins. So you might run by a bar and there'll be an arrow pointing in. So you got to go in, you got to have a beer or more. You come back out, you pick the course up. And so those are like and then I'm going to give you one guess to guess where these races always end. And so then you end at a bar. Yeah. And then you end at another bar. But like here, like that's a very, very simplistic. Sometimes like the really elaborate ones, they'll have they'll have an arrow. You'll come to where there's multiple arrows pointing. And so one will be the wrong way. So you got to double back. Sometimes there's the chicken routes. There's the eagle routes. The eagles for the faster, more advanced runners, the chickens for the. But yeah, man, if you have a hash harrier in your area, they are kind of fun. They can get a little, like they can get kind of over the top, but
kind of just hearing you describe it, I'm like, that's way over the top.
The one that I did on the east side, it started kind of at dusk anyway, so it went to the night. It got to the point where we had a Columbus PD roll, but like, what are we doing? Because like we were like running behind apartments and shit on the course, and the cops like, do you guys know where you are? And I'm like, unfortunately I do. And they're like, listen, like the cops like, you idiots need to stay together. And like, okay. And then what's funny is that one was on the east side. Jamie, the other one I ran with this group, it was in bougie ass Dublin, like kind of like where Bridge Park is now. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. You guys took us from the hood to Dublin. And what's funny is we probably got harassed more in Dublin because, like, you know, the WASP are like, what's going on? Oh, what a hoity-toity. You know what I mean? They're like, they're interesting. They're pretty interesting. But this race, I would do this race in a heartbeat. This would be fun.
You're built for this race, man. I can't do that whole like drinking and running.
Bro,
I would not last.
I could throw down a tall boy a pibber in about 2.2 seconds. Like if they said you can drink 6 PBRs or like 6, like if I could do the champagne beer like a High Life. Get the fuck! I'll throw those 6 beers down in a blink of an eye.
Cole. One time, Johnny and a few of our other friends, they did this 50K. There's a bike path that goes from all the way at the south end of Columbus, all the way to the north end of Columbus, and it's like Ohio, and it's like I don't know, it's like what 50K about distance.
Yeah.
They did that whole bike path, but they also stopped at multiple breweries along the way. Nice. How many breweries you guys stop at?
We did that. We did versions of that run a couple different times, but every single time we hit at minimum 6 breweries. We hit
and had more than one beer at some.
Yeah, and you'll go in, you'll hang out for a little bit, have a beer. But what's funny is like the one that we did that went on the bike path with brew. We started all the way out to Gahanna. Made our way to ran through the hood to get to downtown Columbus, then made our way north up to Worthington. And it's fun. Like I do enjoy doing that kind of shit where you're like a little bit slower, like a fat ass kind of run.
Adventure run, have fun.
Adventure jogging.
Yeah, so for the sober division, Chad Allen won. There was three finishers. I wonder what they were drinking. It should say what they were drinking, like
seltzer, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was like, I'll do this if I'm drinking Spindrift seltzer because that stuff's not as carbonated. Like,
yeah, and it's like natural like fruit in that too. I
love those. They're so good.
They are good. If I could drink Gatorade, well, that might even be too much Gatorade. I don't know, too much sugar. Chad Allen, 6 hours and 10 minutes. Stephanie Dahl for the women, 9 hours and 20. 50K light. I'm curious as to what the 50K light is. Like, are they drinking light beer or or 12 ounces? Seth Krufka, 6 hours 58, and Tina Teagle, 8 hours and 26 were the winners in that. Now we go to the true event of champions, the 50K beer division, drinking those 16 ounces. Kevin Brooks puts down a 5 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, God.
And Andrea Holmquist, 7 hours and 45 minutes for the women.
Now, to answer our question, how long they let them go, look at your last place time on the beer one.
13 hours and 25 minutes.
God bless.
Doesn't sound like there's a time limit. Here's the course. Just let us know when you finish.
Man, let us know if you finish or not. Like could you imagine? Can you imagine how drunk Kevin Brooks is by the time Kevin Brooks is like absolute shit faced by the time Dan Fielder comes across the finish line? Like there is a level of inebriation that's just unhinged. Like that is amazing.
If this event format takes off, they need to partner up with like either a hotel chain or like Lyft or Uber and stuff,
Uber?
right? Because,
my God, yeah.
Right.
So when you talk about non-endemic sponsors kind of getting into the space, I mean, this format is like perfect for like making a pitch because of safety,
Yeah.
Oh, I'd imagine there's some waivers that have to be signed this thing. Yeah, or they need to partner with a brewery too.
Too.
Okay, that's race results.
Hey, while you pull up the next thing, I had to look our lady Anita up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a legit certified badass.
Okay.
Like certified badass. Like she's Colorado, right? So she has. She won Rattler, right? She podium Bears Ears Ultra 50 miler in Utah. She podium Sky Pilots. She won Your Way 50 miler. She won it. She podium Devil on the Divide. Like she is just
a Colorado mountain runner,
yeah, she's a badass, man, and awesome. She's been doing it all the time. Like that's badass.
Good for her. That's really great. Yeah. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this article. This is your brain on ultra running: the good, bad, and groggy impacts of running long distances on cognitive functioning and mood regulation. We all know that the short-term impacts are pretty evident, right? Of not getting much sleep. Like my take on it was they didn't really have too much information on long-term impacts. I'm sure they haven't really been able to do studies. Maybe they've started some, but the thing I wanted to kind of talk about was the illusions and the hallucinations. And one thing that was crazy in here is they said, with more time awake, sleep deprivation and increased illusions and hallucinations can lead to acute psychosis, often occurring after 48 to 90 hours without sleep. For this reason, athletes who are participating in longer events may need to be aware of other mental health conditions that a deficit of sleep could exacerbate. That's like, I love it. It's serious though. Like probably the worst for me was Fat Dog. Around like 40 plus hours in, the hallucinations were just so strong. I mean, I was seeing aid stations in the trees. I'm like, yes, aid station. I'm like, oh, it's just like a log laying in the forest. That's not a tent. Like, what the hell? is alarming. And in that race, I was having conversations with people that weren't even there. I wasn't talking out loud. I was like having a conversation in my mind with my 2 running friends that were running the race, but they were not with me. You know, and then the other weird thing is the deja vu. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. You have?
Yeah. So when I did my first like long effort was running across or like running north to south in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And me and my wife, we just winged it, honestly. And I took some naps and stuff, and like, but I had a pacer with me, and he was playing music on his phone, and it was like a Lady Gaga song, and I thought that the lyrics were like, I thought she was singing about this run that I was doing, and I thought that I was gonna see like, you know, Barack Obama, I think, was a president during the time, so I thought I was gonna see like him at the finish line and like all kinds of celebrities. And I remember I kept telling my pacer that we're going the wrong way because I kept seeing like airplanes with the little smoke trail things.
Oh my God.
I was telling him that the planes are pointing which way to go and stuff. And it was like a couple hours of like just being kind of out of my mind a little bit. And part of it was, I think I chugged an energy drink, like, and I was dehydrated. And once I drank enough water and like got my system back, like it was kind of like this like cloudy like haze of like confusion just like left me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry everybody for how I was the last 4 hours or whatever. Right.
Yeah. I think calorie deficit can have something to do with that. And like you said, dehydration for sure. But yeah, man, that is just some scary stuff. Not fun.
I don't know if I've ever really had bad hallucinations. I don't know, like, you know, the typical shit where like, you know, like a shadow, like you'll see, like, you know, like your headlamp will catch up and you're like, oh shit. And like maybe that, but like nothing like prolonged, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Like I think I've gotten pretty lucky on that kind of stuff. But it is funny running at night though, and like you'll hear like a simple stick break. You're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
What was like?
The deja vu I had was on the last huge climb at Fat Dog. It's like I don't know, it's 11-mile section and there's 3,500 feet of climbing. And I'm climbing up that, and I swear I was on that trail before. I'm like, and I have never been to that part of Canada. And I'm like, I like, where did I hike this? Like, when did I hike this? I know I've been here. Yeah, I was sure of it, but I had never been there.
You know, it's kind of funny that you mention that because there is, I really regret, and like I'll have to thumb through some of the photos I have from Tahoe, but there was this one section of the trail where you're on this exposed like round, like you're on this exposed curve coming around the mountain, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it overlooks one of the little resorts or overlooks a little city that's out there. And it was really like I got lucky enough. I got to that point right at sunset, and so I had a really pretty orange sky behind it and the lights. And now to talk about deja vu, I do feel like when I got to there, I'm like, oh, I know this picture. I've seen this picture. You're like, the fuck, dumbass, this ain't no picture. I'm literally looking at this. What are we talking about? But I remember seeing it and thinking like, oh, I've seen this. Like, oh my god,
yeah.
I've seen this photo. Like, this is weird. Like, the photographer that took that photo that I know about must have come right here.
Yeah,
like I do kind of remember that.
Like, this is iconic.
It is funny. I'm like, oh shit, like that's cool. That's cool. That photographer must have taken it right here. Now that I think I had that, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah,
unless if I had that photo.
I have some wild stories from like there's an Adventure Jogger podcast episode of my Cocodona 2022 recap, and I had the deja vu kind of stuff, and I mean, pretty much I felt like I was dreaming like while awake, and that's when I know I need to take some sleep, is like when I get to that kind of state. And it's only happened to me like running New Jersey and then doing Cocodona in 2022. And I don't want to get there because like you almost lose touch with reality. You start to question everything, and it's just like they're wild experiences for sure. And then I will say, at the Arizona Monster, there's the second to last aid station. There's a 21-mile stretch where I was out with Matt, pacing him, and it was that section that was like kind of overgrown, and like it was like much more like more tree coverage, and you're like way up on the mountaintops or hilltops and stuff, and you're just like running on. And everyone, if you listen to any other podcast episodes of Arizona Monster, like Peter Mortimer talked about it, this section was just like a complete it was just totally messing with people's minds, and messed with my mind. I wasn't even sleep deprived, and it was just like you're just like you see lights in the distance, and you're just like, how do you like? There's runners over there. How do you get over there? And you're just like looping around. Like, it felt like you're like being flushed down a toilet. And you're just like running on the top of the ridge, and you're going up and down, and all the trail looks the same. There's pictures of a space capsule that was real. There was like cow bones that were like all over the place. Like it was such a strange moment, like in that stretch of the race.
What is happening here?
Yeah, and it was just like you were just like running these like loops around these ridges over and over again for 21 miles straight, and then finally you descend down, and it's like you're like a mile from the aid station, and it's the longest mile to get to this thing. Wow. It was wild, and it's like at the point of the race where people were just like, I have 15 more miles to go. I don't want to do these 15 miles. Like, I'm done, like it was, I totally get it. It was, even being somebody that, again, like was not sleep deprived. Like it was the most frustrating part of running that I've ever experienced on a course.
I couldn't imagine being the runner and being in the sleep deprivation and experiencing that. You must be like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, it was wild. It was just like it literally, you felt like you were being flushed down a toilet, but you're like running up on these like mountain ridge lines, and you're supposed to go down 2,000 feet. And you're just like, when is this going to happen? Like it's saying we're supposed to start going down with 6 miles to go. Well, we're 4 miles from the aid station. So like, what's happening? Right.
Yeah.
And you're still going up, and you're like, this makes no sense. So pretty, again, that's part of the beauty and challenge that we get to experience out there and doing these crazy endurance events that we partake in. So
the mental aspect of the sport is just something. It's just, it's insane.
It is.
Quick LazCon update. I believe I think he had like 5 more miles to go to get where he wanted to for this stretch, but it was raining so hard that trucks, semis were passing by at 65 to 70 miles per hour.
God.
And made him invisible to traffic because of the rain. And said the first objective on any Transcon is to not die. So he is taking a pause now and going back for Strolling Jim, which must be this weekend.
Man. Yeah.
And it's funny, like this one guy that was pacing him. Oh, I gotta go back to this post. This guy that paced him on his last day. This is what Laz said. The guy that was pacing him said he took smoke breaks. I don't smoke on uphills, he told me. But anyway,
that's cool.
All right, and then the last thing on the news. So Canyons is this weekend. Canyons 100, Canyons 100K, Canyons 50K. The big race is the 100K. It's the last golden ticket race for Western States. There's 3 golden tickets for the men, 3 golden tickets for the women up for grabs. And I was just looking at the entrance list, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like might be the race of the year. I mean, Western States is going to be insane. The lineup there this year is sick. But I think we should look at the 100K because that is like the big race. We can start with the women. Jasmine Lothar, Emily Hoggood, Marianne Hogan, Anna Loudon, Keely Henninger. I mean, Alyssa McDonald, Sarah Beal, Katie Asmuth. I mean, it's just insane the talent there this year. So, do you want to make picks, Johnny?
It's funny that you say that because I was actually thinking. I thought I heard you say someone's name, but I don't see her on here now.
Well, and this is where I was trying to do some while we were talking about like doing some research on this. Like, this is all based on people that got the elite entries, and I heard that there was issues for elite athletes later in the year trying to get elite status. And so like I have a feeling that whoever we pick, there's a high likelihood that there's some other elites that have similar indexes that are not listed because they got denied a quote unquote elite entry. And I tried going into looking at the starting list, and if you just try to look at it very generically, like it doesn't populate it. So
right.
Like, it's you have to like just start punching in names and see if someone comes up.
That might make it hard for it, and it's not on Ultra Sign Up, unfortunately.
No,
which would give us Ultra Sign Up rankings.
So let's do this. Let's make two picks let's just make two picks. Let's not worry about podium.
Okay.
Because I have two ladies. One's gonna be a flyer. One's gonna be like no shit, you're picking her. But I have a flyer that I'm gonna roll with, because I'm telling you, she's on the cusp. I have a woman that I'm high on. I swear she's on the cusp of it. So one of my ladies is Sarah Beal. I gotta roll with my Ohio. Lady. Dude, she is so good at the 50 mile. She's so fucking good at the 50 mile. It's right. It's exactly what Cole was talking about. She's great at the 50. There's just something like she just needs to break that wall to the 100K. And so I just wonder if is this it? Like, because she got to think about her big debut is JFK, right? So I just wonder. It's like, all right, now, and granted, she let's be honest, she kind of pooped the bed a couple years back at Black Canyon. So maybe this is it. So I'm gonna go. Sarah Beal is one of my people I think can really show out, but Katie is. I mean, come on, like, what are we talking about? Like, that's like.
Sarah has the highest UTMB index rating.
Yeah, 781.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good pick.
Yep, she was a sleeper pick for me. I looked. She hasn't raced. She hasn't raced this year. So there's been. So I'm just. This is her going to be her debut for the year. So I'm just curious, and it didn't seem like she raced a lot in the back half of 2024 either. So just curious. Maybe she was dealing with injury, or I tried to do a little bit of research there, but that's why I put her as a sleeper, because I think she has immense upside and potential. And if she nails it, she's going to nail it. I just don't know what her current like fitness status is coming into the race. Is she 100% healthy and hungry and ready to go, or she kind of on the build back up from an injury or something like that? So,
I mean, she won. I knew there was something out there. She won Gorge Waterfalls last year.
Yeah.
So so. Anyways, that she's my sleep. Like, she's my. Let's go, Sarah. This is it. I'm stoked.
Okay, Cole. Do you want to make a pick? Your picks. You said Sarah Beal is your sleeper.
Yeah. So I kind of did. I think this is gonna be a really exciting race, both men's and women's. I did do a top three. So I did a top three women's, and then I did top three sleepers. Just because I think that it creates some drama. So like, just to go through who I picked Marianne Hogan for the win, Jasmine Lowther in second, Emily Hoggood in third, and possibly upsets there could be Sarah Beal. I think another sleeper could be Keely Henninger. So she was 4th at Big Alta, which is the free trail 50K.
Yep.
She knows these trails well. She's done well. Black Canyon, obviously, prior course record holder. She's hasn't nailed Western States, but she's come in with potential of actually like winning the whole thing, right? So if she's healthy, which it seems like 4th place at Big Alta, and she's more of a longer distance kind of athlete. And I've known her when she was a multiple time winner of the Tussey Mountain Back 50 mile.
Oh yeah.
So I know she's got the wheels, she's got the endurance. And I think she's trending to, hopefully she'll be able to put it all together, but she could be a big surprise for people, I think. And then, I think Marion Hogan is just really, really good. And she's been training like a monster. And I don't know, she's tough. And Jasmine Lowther, I like her a lot because she won Canyons in 2022.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, different course, but and she finished in 10:01. So, I think she's going to be hungry, and she knows these trails well too.
Yeah.
Same thing with Emily Hoggood. Like she is like, she was 4th at Western States.
Yeah, she lives out there.
She lives out there, like, so she has the home field advantage too. So it's going to be fun because I think that there can be a lot of drama that's going to happen. I think it's going to depend on who like is able to get out and dictate the pace in the race and see who follows, and it's going to be a battle.
Yeah. Did you say you had Emily Hoggood in 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would mean a sleeper, a golden ticket would go down to some sleeper picks. So that's kind of why I added it that way, because Marianne theoretically would get a golden ticket. Jasmine would have to consider about a ticket, so that'd be 2. And then there'd be one, Emily Hoggood's already in Western States, so there'd have to be someone else, right?
Yeah, and I'm writing these down, so can you just say your sleeper picks again?
My 3 sleepers that I think, I didn't say Anna Loudon, but I think that she's trending pretty well too.
Yeah.
There's so many other great women too that are in that list. Erin Clark is talented. I mean, Priscilla Forgy is talented. They're all that anyone on that list could pop a big one.
You had Sarah Beal,
Keely Henninger, and Anna Loudon. And I would probably pick Keely Henninger as my number 1 sleeper pick. I think that she is just when I compare her to Sarah Beal, she has a more recent result that's at a competitive event. So I think she's trending, especially in that style of trail too, California trail. So
right.
So that's why I would pick her as my overall sleeper pick.
Yeah. Nice. I was gonna go with Jasmine Lowther first, and second I was kind of split, but I do think Marianne Hogan has been really strong, but Anna Loudon has really been coming on to the scene lately. So I think I'll just mix it up and go with Anna Loudon.
Nice. Yeah, I'm so curious how this race is gonna play out, because we don't have there's definitely star power, but it's not like Courtney Dauwalter showing up or I don't think it's gonna be someone just like going from the gun and then just they're gonna win it from the get-go. I think it's gonna be a pack, and there's gonna be someone's gonna make a move at some point. And it's going to be a decision of, do they stay with them or do they run their own race, and what materializes at that point. And it's going to be like, at what distance does that decisive move happen? So it's going to be drama. I think it's going to be fun unfortunately there's not a live stream either, so we're going to have to be watching the little dot tracking
right.
Twitter, whatever it is.
I agree. It's gonna be great because there's so many different people that whoever has the best day, really. There's a lot of very, very good runners. And
I want to call out something really quick too.
Yeah.
The race conditions. I wrote down it's going to be potential for showers, and the low is 47, the high is 57 degrees.
What was the high?
57.
That's perfect canyons weather, man.
Yeah, so it's going to be, the trails are going to be a little bit wet. And then also I think fueling is going to be incredibly important just to keep your body temperature regulated. Like some people, it's, you know, you don't think, oh, well, hypothermia, that type of stuff. But honestly, going at these fast paces, you might see some drops happen because people are just not regulating their body temperature because they're not fueling appropriately. So
yeah,
I think dehydration is not going to be the big killer. I think fueling is going to be, how people's stomachs cooperate is going to be a deciding factor in some of this.
That's a great point. And just to level set about the Canyons course, I ran it in 2021 and 2022, and those 2 years it was a net uphill. I think it was like 15,000 feet of climbing and like 10,000 feet of descent. But now it's flipped. They're starting up at China Wall instead of ending there. So you have a big downhill, but they did add in an out and back on Devil's Thumb. So that does add in some climbing right there. But it's more resemblant of Western States, how it's a net downhill. So should be interesting. And for the men, Francesco Puppy, Rod Farvard, who just won the 9 trails. He's just a beast, man. Like Anthony Costales has he been hurt? Yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah, I think he what was the race? I think one of his last solid finishes is, I think he was third at the race in Cape Town, Ultra Trail Cape Town.
Yep.
And since then, I think he was trying to run like Transvolcania or one of those other events, and I think he had like hamstring kind of issue. But you know, I don't know. He's been kind of like Strava dark and stuff. But I have some friends in the Salt Lake contingent, and I think that what I know about Anthony Costales is that he's a gamer, and if he's going to be on that starting line and he's going to show up, like he's showing up, and meaning he's ready to go for the win. Like that's the only option that he sees, and he's mentally like an absolute monster. So anything's possible with him.
I feel like we need to weight Cole's picks. Like his should have a weight to them. Like he should, like there should be like a dummy curve added to his.
Like a handicap.
Yeah, like what are he's like? He's got inside connections. There's contingent.
Yeah, I'll give you. There's some East Coast people that I'm definitely biased for, that I've had to kind of rule them out, just be out of like I would love for them to win, but with this field it's too hard to tell. But we'll talk about that in a second. But,
I already know one that's pulling at Jamie's heartstrings. I already know.
Well, we got Justin Grunwald running, and the young gun out of Georgia, Hans Troyer.
I was watching his training videos. I love what he's bringing to the table with, and again, the guy obliterated like the Tussey Mountain Back course.
Course record.
He did 5:16, which I've run that race, and I think my best was like 6:07. So like he literally ran an hour faster than me.
Damn.
He's putting in the work. He's fast.
Yeah, and like Zach Bitter had a record there at 5:31. Matt Flaherty had the record at 5:28 that he broke, so he obliterated that record. And the Matt Flaherty 5:28 was a very stout time on that course, and so mind you, like the carbon plate issues definitely play a factor in that kind of stuff and fueling. But the kid is, I'm so sorry. He's my sleeper pick, or one of them, because I think that he has the potential to win the whole dang race. Like he's such a wild card. He could either podium, which I put him in my podium, but he could also blow up, but he could also win the whole thing. So who knows?
Yeah. So since you're going already, Cole, he's one of your wild cards. Who's your other two wild cards, and then who's your podium?
Yeah, so in terms of sleepers, I got Hans Troyer. So here's what's wild, guys. I saw Charlie Lawrence on the list, and he's the American record holder for 50 miles.
Yes, and he just won a race last weekend.
Yeah, so I snooped social media, and it doesn't look like he was like, "Oh, I'm doing training. Here's a ketone IQ, drink or whatever." And so I don't know if he's going to be at this race. It didn't seem like there any indication that he's in California.
Oh.
Like I think he was listed, but he's just not going to start. Is my guess. But if he were to start, he would be like the sleeper pick of the year because this guy has so much wheels that, like, in terms of just raw speed, if he has just enough, if he can keep his legs intact, I mean, the guy could, who knows what could happen? He could be the next Jim Walmsley kind of thing, right? So, like, I mean, his ceiling is incredibly high if he's able to, again, do the little things, the fueling, to preparing his legs appropriately for the style of the course and the conditions and that type of stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be even on the starting line, but if he is, watch out, people.
That would be awesome if he was.
And he's not sponsored yet.
Adidas. He just signed a deal with Adidas.
Okay. Nice.
and it's exclusively focusing on road ultras. So he's being incentivized for that, which is cool. So very cutting edge, I guess, on that front.
And Rajpal Panu is also in it. He won Jackpot 100. Yep. He's fast, but I don't know about if he has like trail speed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's your other sleeper, Cole?
Eric LaPuma. So he's with Adidas Terex. He's a really good friend of mine. He lives in Vermont. I've raced and duked it out with Eric at Comset 50K, which has been a USA Championship event many years in the past. And he's just been training really, really hard. And he's, I think he was like 5th place at Black Canyon last year. I mean, in the World Trail Running Championships, 80K distance roughly, he had like two seventh place finishes. The guy is he's in shape, and so I think he's my biased pick. Like, I would love for him to get a golden ticket and like sneak onto the podium. But with the field, I think it depends on how the race plays out, how it's dictated. Because I think there's some top guns up at the front that are really going to pull some strings and break the race open. So if it's more of a tighter pack race, I think Eric has a real legitimate shot. Or if he's able to run smart and kind of reel people in that maybe are too aggressive and are too bullish on their their race strategies, then hopefully he can make it work. But I'm wishing him the best for sure. But we'll see.
Would you define him as like a really like I mean, at that level, I would guess most elites are, but would you define him as like a extremely tactical, like a really savvy race runner? Like he's like a mental person of it, right? Like he's playing chess while others are playing checkers, right?
Yeah, he's similar to like Drew Holman. I think if you've seen like Drew Holman run like a Western States or like a Jeff Browning when he had all his top 10 finishes at Western States, like come from behind kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Eric has no problem running at the front, but he's going to not overextend himself to a point where he's going to cause a blow up. Like he'll reel it in and just kind of be controlled. So yeah, he's definitely smart. I mean, training up in Vermont, I mean, the race is going to be Vermont conditions, a Vermont spring for him. So he'll be right at home there, and that helps play into an advantage for him too. So we'll see.
And oh, by the way, there's no rocks or roots for him to trip over.
Not as many. Yeah.
There is some.
It is funny because like that kind of he sounds like that dude that just sits on your shoulder, right? Like on a track, you know what I mean? He's that dude that's just sitting on your shoulder, just waiting for like one of the last curves, and like boop.
Yeah.
Who's your picks?
So this is how I think I was doing a workout yesterday, and I was trying to figure out how this was going to play out. And I was sick as a dog last year when I ran Black Canyon. The only golden ticket race that I actually started. I dropped out. I didn't finish. But I ran with Rod Farvard for a good piece of it. And we chatted, and that was like the race before he just like unleashed this new version of himself. And,
new Rod.
I do, the way I feel this race is going to play out is I think Hans Troyer is going to be up there. I think Francesco Pupi is going to be up there, and I think Rod Farver is going to be up there. Rod and Francesco have been training together, and I think that those two, Francesco doesn't think if he gets a golden ticket he's going to take it. Rod is already in, obviously with his second place from last year. And so I feel like there's going to be a pack, and I think we're going to see the likes of Rod and Francesco kind of pushing things. I think Hans Naumberger is going to be in the mix. He's a speedy guy who's won Lavaredo. He's a Lavaredo superstar, like literally is undefeated at that race. And that's like during the same time that Western States happens. So it pulls different athletes usually. I think Anthony Costales will be in the mix, and I think some of the other runners are on this list will be in the mix too. But I think it's going to be a battle between Rod and Francesco. And I think Rod's just going to be the better of the two on the day with his fueling strategies. Francesco, this is his first 100K. So I think that similar to Eli Hemming might have some issues later on, especially in the conditions, where Rod is just going to be tough as nails. And I think he's going to just battle of attrition, hold it out. But the third place, I said Hans. So it's going to be Rod, Francesco, like a close second. Hans, I think, is going to be third. I think very close behind is going to be Hans Naumberger. I think Hans and Hans are going to be going at it, and I think it's going to be just unbelievable. And then I picked Eric LaPuma behind him. I think Eric's going to kind of move up and catch some people and move up on that field and get close to those guys. Maybe he'd be on Hans Naumberger's heels, I hope.
Oh man.
So I think that's how it's going to play out. I think some of the other guys are a little bit too I'm sorry guys, but I think some of them they're question marks in terms of like, well, if they stick it, they stick it. If not, we don't, there's that question marks there. I think like in Adam Mary, he just he moved out to Maine. Now he's back in Boulder, Colorado. So he's been going through some cross country moving. Justin Grunwald has done really well at this race. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of where is he on his headspace? How is he feeling physically? Mackay Clemens did really well here last year. I think he was like fourth. So that guy could be a surprise. Jupiter was second at Black Canyon. So I think that I don't know enough about him to see what he can do. Zach Miller, that's not the Zach Miller that we think of, right?
Yes, it is.
897.
I think that is the Zach Miller. I think that's the Zach Miller.
Sure is.
God, what? Wait, when did this happen?
But he doesn't have. Did that just pop in there?
No. I have him on my list. I was like,
oh really?
This changes everything.
You guys.
No.
Zach Miller for the win.
Breaking news, Hans. Everybody. If that is possible, I don't know what's gonna because then now it's gonna be if he tries to push things because he's doing hard rock more than likely because of the whole appendix issue last year. So
he is in this year.
Yeah, so I mean
he was like number 1 on the waiting list or something.
Yeah. So
I didn't even notice that. How did I not notice that?
I don't know. I was like, I cannot believe we're not sitting here talking about Zach Miller right now.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Well, there's no number next to him.
I know.
There's no bib number.
I'm so curious. Yeah, like Ryan Montgomery's good. I mean, all these athletes on this list are incredible and deservingly so have the right to be in the mix. And there's going to be other athletes that maybe younger runners that we don't know that aren't listed. Like my index for UTMB is not good because it really just like factors in like my Kodiak 100K, which is my slowest 100K I've ever run, and then Cocodona in 2022, which was a top 10. And like most of my other finishes I've done aren't even listed. So it's like, and then like anywho. So it's like I'm like 200 points lower than what I think I probably could be listed, right? So like there could be athletes like that could surprise us. But if Zach Miller is running this race, ladies and gentlemen, the men's race is going to be an absolutely just bananas event and he is a banana guy. He loves his bananas. Yeah. I love Zach Miller. He's been on the U.S. snowshoe running team, so I've gotten to know him a little bit. Yeah. And him being the Pennsylvania guy, but I mean, if he is feeling good and he's gonna push the pace no matter what because that's how he likes to run.
That's his thing, right? Yeah.
It's gonna be a matter of who can take the closest steps to the finish line first. Is whoever can just like hold things together is gonna be the victor. So I don't know. Maybe maybe Rod does still pull it out. Maybe Zach just blows people away, or maybe everybody blows up and it's just like maybe it's Hans Naumberger that survives his first, right? So Zach Miller changes everything.
So my podium is pretty chalk. Mine is Rod. I got Rod winning it. Like I have learned my lesson. I will not go against Rod anymore. Like Rod, if Walmsley's not in it, Rod's getting a nod from me more likely. So I'm going Rod. I'm going Zach Miller, and then the one where I'm probably maybe stretching a little bit. Again, it's a dude that I feel like is right there. Like I feel like we keep seeing him do like really cool shit, and it's just like, but like never Ryan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Like
he's a strong runner. Well, he won Javelina, right?
Yeah, I would like to see him just kind of like put together, like string together like some really dope shit. Like I like him a ton. And then here's what's funny. Here's when these are your wild cards, it's a ridiculous field. Because my wild card is I have on here Jupiter is one of my wild cards, which is fucking ridiculous. Like when you're talking about him being one of your wild cards, you're like, what are we doing?
Right.
Him Anthony Costellas.
Yep.
Is one of my wild cards. And then my other one is, and like this one is a complete, like this is just, I feel like we saw him on another, like I feel like we were doing another episode. We talked about him a little bit, but it's Kai out of Japan. I feel like we talked about him on something else, and I'm like, dude, that's badass.
He's got a cool sponsor too, Joe Hoku Caballo.
Yeah, yeah. So there's just something I feel like he's resonating with me for some reason. But I feel like we talked about him on something else. He had a good run over at Tarawara. He had a good run over there.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like that's where, yeah.
I was just gonna keep going on the Hiroki Kai, and a quick shout out to Jared Burdick because he's a good buddy. He's a Central New York runner, and I hope he gets top 10, top 5. Win the thing, baby! Come on, Jared.
There you go. So those are my picks right there. So those are my guys. What do you got, Jamie?
Well, I didn't realize Zach Miller was running. If he is in fact running, I don't know. I follow him on Strava. I don't feel like he's been training for Canyon.
He has not. It's funny because I just double checked. Because I follow him also, and I just double checked. That dude has been posting like weird skiing shit. Yeah, like he's still up in the mountains skiing and shit. So I don't know. Like all I know is he's right there, and it is that Zach Miller. So I'm like, fuck.
Well, yeah. So the one thing Hans, I would say I'm hesitant because I have a feeling he's going to be going all out, like because he knows what it's going to take to win this. So I think he learned some lessons at Black Canyon the year he stayed with Hayden Hawks for half the race and then ended up getting rhabdo. I think he learned some lessons there, but I don't know if he learned enough, because he hasn't been in a race with this amount of firepower. Well, I guess Black Canyon probably was. But,
yeah.
But anyway, I've been talking it up forever, so I gotta stick to it.
Hey, he's in shape. He seems healthy, based on all the social media videography and stuff that I've been witnessing and seeing.
Yeah.
And anyone that can run a 5:16 Tussey mountain back, because that's going to translate well to a race like this, because it's Tussey is very runnable, but it's also very punchy. There's some 2,000 foot climbs in that race, even though you're running on like a gravel road and stuff and so if he's in the right headspace and takes care of himself, like again, he is a true sleeper pick. Like he could podium top 10, or he could win the whole damn thing. So we'll just have to wait and see with him, but anything's possible.
Yep. and I'm gonna just bank on Zach not running this race.
Cowards.
I say if he was running, he would definitely be number one for me. But I will say Zach Miller is probably my favorite ultra runner.
Really?
Like he is this hard charging dude. Ever since I saw that video of him in the North Face 50 when he was running against Hayden Hawks, like when Hayden Hawks was like brand new onto the scene, and they were just neck and neck and running along the Bolinas Ridge, which when I lived in San Francisco, I ran that stretch so many times. So seeing those guys just flying on that section is just awesome. But anyway, so we don't think Charlie Lawrence is running. Maybe he is. We don't know. That would be another strong pick. But I think I'm going to go with Rod Farvard second and Anthony Constalis third.
Nice.
So, okay. So I think we should wrap it up. We're an hour and 40 in. I know we didn't.
Sorry.
No. It was.
I did 50K picks too because everything is just so exciting.
Yeah, it is. I want to get to that stuff, but not enough time. We're a little over. But three T's. Well, you know what? I'll tell you this. We'll save the crewing 3 T's until you come on next time.
Okay. Post Sedona Canyons.
Yes. Yeah. Let's do that.
Maybe we'll just meet you at the end of Sedona, and then like while you're still gasping for air, we're like, hey, by the way, let's go ahead and just do these 3 T's right now. You know what I mean? Maybe
sounds good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be around 7:30 in the morning. So
oh my god,
on Thursday. That'd be nice.
Dude. Oh, that would be dope. That'd be so fucking dope.
Get some coffee, chillax.
Yeah. wear my Coke donut shirt and eat a nice glazed donut. Dunkin' Donuts.
There it is. Yeah.
Now you're talking. Well, hey Cole, thanks a lot for coming on. Appreciate your time and your expertise and and hearing about all your the great stuff that you've had going on.
Definitely always a pleasure to have you on.
Yep.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. It was fun just like going through kind of like the picks and stuff. Like I normally don't get to do this kind of stuff or play like the fantasy kind of sport.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I'm like in it, so it's fun. So thank you for that.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you on when we do like Western States picks. And we usually do like the Golden Ticket races and Western States and Hard Rock and UTMB, some of the bigger ones. So
if he's going to start coming on to do the picks, I got to start really dialing in and doing homework.
I got to start doing some research.
Right now, I'm just like, you know what? I feel good about him. Like,
yeah. All right. Well,
thanks so much.
And we'll catch everybody on the next one. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Happy trails.